Welcome to another edition of In My Humble Opinion. I'm Will. We got Daph. We got Mondo.
Hey, friends.
We have a great topic for you today. We're going to talk about the concept of dating up or dating down and what that means and why people feel like they got to date up. Because I don't think anyone, well, or date down, because some guys feel like they have to date down in order to be in control.
Ooh.
Not me.
Do all
I
you
didn't
guys
think of
feel
it
like
that way.
Huh?
Oh well, yeah. I guess if the control part, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, sometimes a guy may feel like if a woman has too much going on, he ain't in control. So he got to hold that over her head. A lot of times you see it with like financial. It's usually financial that he'll have over her head because women seem to, be a little bit more smarter than us guys.
True.
A little bit.
Like,
When they say put a tab of salt on it.
Yeah, just a sprinkle.
Maybe it's who you're dealing with.
Well, I'm highly educated. Maybe I don't have a formal education, but
You're intellectual.
intellectual.
Right. So have you guys ever dated up or dated down or feel as if you haven't found that balance? Because sometimes you want that balance, but sometimes you may want to date up, you may want to date down.
Let's get in girlfriend's business.
Yeah.
As far as dating up, I feel like I have looked for people who were in different categories than
What categories are
general
those?
guys.
Yeah, let's discuss these categories. We're interested.
Well, I have searched or like not even searched. Well, I'd be more interested in a guy who was like had a job where he was like maybe an athlete or something like that.
Maybe.
So you like the athletic type?
Yeah, I do like the athletic type. So that would be a thing for me where I didn't want to date like regular guys with regular jobs. I want to go for people with like me and my best friend, we used to call them like guys with no nicks.
Okay, I don't
So
like you're your best friend right now.
because we always knew that if they didn't have a neck, they were probably like an athlete or something.
So let me ask you this.
Or they could just be fat.
No, fat and not having a neck is completely different.
Well, because
Most
athletes
guys,
play offensive line.
they play offense, they play defense, they play receiver, they play quarterback, they play all types of
You said
positions.
they pitching and catching, huh?
I don't know
What
about
type
the
of guys are these that you're dating
Right.
up to?
No, I'm just saying like sometimes it's like a thing where you're like, oh, well, this guy has this or this guy has this, and I know that I might be taken care of or I might be able to get this.
So when you
or
say
like,
this, that's a material. So this could be whatever material.
it's not. It
object.
doesn't even have to be material. It's just like you already know that they have that standard where this is their job, so they're gonna go out, they're gonna work. You know what I mean? You don't have the thought of like, oh, this guy is at a regular job, and what if he quit?
What's a regular job? What's a regular job? So,
Yeah.
Well,
so
not
me
even
and
a regular
me
job.
and Will
Don't
regular job
attack
guys.
me because I'm a female.
No,
we're
I'm saying
asking
if you
questions
date
I'm
for
just
clarity.
saying,
Right?
not
Let's
even
make
a regular
Listen,
job, just a
there
general
may be people
job.
out there who think that they're not regular guys.
No,
and now you're going to tell them
that's
they
not
are.
it.
Is Matt
I
a
feel-
regular guy?
Matt is a regular. You all are regular guys.
Oh. Yep. This is our final episode of In My Humble Opinion. It's been real.
I don't think that. Okay, so I don't think that it's not that. Even people with good jobs or like athletes.
So when you
they're
say
all-
regular guy, you're just saying
they're regular
a guy
guys
who doesn't
too.
play a sport for a living.
No, now you've taken my whole point out of context.
Okay,
What I'm
it feels like
saying
we're
is-
kind of badgering you
yeah,
because we are.
And I'm like,
I
and that's
know,
fine.
and it's
that's
so
fine.
rude. Okay, so listen.
Okay, we're listening.
I just feel like everybody is regular. First of all, let's just say that.
Everybody.
And I just feel like sometimes in situations you want to date up because you want to make sure that you're going to probably be taken care of, because sometimes in general you might see somebody doing something different and you don't have that trust that they're going to be able to take care of you like you want to be
But
taken
just
care
because
of.
I'm an athlete, right? And I'm
You
making all
don't
this
have to
money,
be an athlete.
or a movie star.
You don't have to be a movie star.
Okay, a
You
drug
could-
dealer.
You okay? Maybe.
A sex symbol.
No,
Yeah.
you don't have to be any type of symbol. You could be anything. You know, you could work anywhere and you could have a good job. You know what I'm saying? Or your thing that you do could be your drug sales could be great or they could be low.
They can be great or they can be low. All right.
What I'm saying is, like, you just look at, as a female, for myself,
Yeah.
I try to look for somebody that's going to be able to equal what I'm going to be able to give and be able to provide for me. Like, I want them to provide for me. Like, I feel like I should be provided for.
Okay.
I don't want no basic people who I feel like they ain't gonna be able to take care of me.
Oh, okay. But so if you were dating a baseball player who had a big contract,
Yeah.
then we're good. Unless he gets hurt.
Yeah, but he could be-
unless he gets hurt and doesn't have a
Guarantee.
contract.
Yeah, but you can't always trust that athletes are always going to make money because they get hurt and then they don't have enough money to take care of you.
And
Duh.
then they're addicted
No,
to
I'm just-
painkillers.
Right. I figured
No.
when you say dating up, right? So you're dating up and you say because this guy or girl, I don't know how it's 2020.
Yeah, no.
So no, I'm not you. I'm just saying I don't want to leave nobody out. What I'm
Don't wanna
saying is
offend
that
anybody.
when you date up to this
Right.
specific person, and just because they make a lot of money doesn't mean they're going to give you any or take care of you at all. So you may say, "Hey, this guy makes $1 million," and he'd be like, "Yeah, I make $1 million. You don't make anything. I'm not giving you anything, but we can date."
That's true. That's absolutely true. But then if you come with your own, you don't have to worry about what he has anyways. It just might be your type of guy that you like.
Well, you take the money away, would you still like him?
Right.
Yeah, they okay.
Whatever. He
Friend
basically-
zone.
Nah, definitely
zone.
in the friend
No,
zone.
but I don't feel like you can take people out of a relationship like that where you're having any type of entanglement and then like you just put them in a friend zone.
Oh, it's happened.
I think friend zone is already, if you're in a friend zone, you're just in a friend zone.
So you go to you hey, how you doing? My name's Ramond, and then you be like friend
Friend
zone.
zone.
Right?
Wow.
But now if we've already entangled, if we've entangled,
yeah.
Right.
now it's like just get away.
Wait, like
Yeah.
you can't even be in
Can't
the
go in
friend
the
zone.
friend zone though.
You just got to leave.
No, because if you see me, we just, hi, that's it.
So, Mondo,
That's respecting the game,
man, have you ever dated up or felt like you dated up?
Yeah, I think in every serious relationship I've been in, I think I've dated up to a degree. And it's not always, I think, material things. It could be like, as far as education wise.
Right.
I was gonna say before my probably most recent
Entanglement.
the two relationships I had before then, more serious, like they both master's degrees and stuff like that. So even with one, that was the push to get me to go to school. Not like she was hounding me to go to school, but I would see, I'd be like, it was kind of
Inspiration.
encouraging, right? So I think that was excuse me. So I think that was dating up, to a degree. And yeah, I mean, I dated women that had more than me materially, and then sometimes it's not like because they made more money than me. It just could be like sometimes they manage their money better than me, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that I looked to date up the older I became.
Mm-hmm.
Like then it became important. At first it was like I like who like me, right?
Yeah.
But then when you're looking at situations where you're getting older and you're looking for the future and you're looking to build, then you start having some different standards and expectations on what you're going to put in a relationship or who you're going to talk to right at the front. Right? Like she said, if you're not a baseball player, can't talk to you.
No, you don't
Well,
have
that's
to
what
be
I took
an
from that.
athlete.
Yeah.
That
So
yeah.
if you
Or
for
a doctor
me,
or a lawyer.
right? So for me, I'm saying that I may entangle with you, but I already know what it is when I come in. Like I know you don't really possess what I'm really looking for, right?
Go.
So if that's something that I'm looking at, because if I really want to talk to you, I'm going to investigate you already. So when I approach you, it's not like it may be my first time physically talking to you or verbally speaking to you, but I've already did some checks and balances
From
before
afar,
before that. If I'm really interested.
Well, let me ask you this, Braylock. So dating up. So for you, is dating up a financial thing, like dating somebody who has more than you, or
Nah,
or what's
because
dating up for you?
dating up
then?
for me is not financial because I am a basketball player on the video games. I've got a new contract. No, I think dating up for me, one of the biggest things is intellectual. Like I like a person who has a good intellect, a person who has drive, a person who has aspirations. Like those things are dating up to me because money comes and goes, right?
Right.
So if that money or that materialistic goal, then if that's all that I was attracted to or attached to, then I start to not like you as a person. I've already been faking to like you, but you have money. Now there's no money, so I don't like you.
Yeah, because like with me, money, I'm not moved by money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I remember a time I think we talked about it, like being poor as a kid,
Right.
and then being at a point where my mom worked a job and ran a business, and then like my grandfather having a business. So, not to say just because you got a business you got money, but so it's like I wasn't worrying about where meal coming from, but I've never been moved by money.
I don't think it's always about being in a like higher up as a financial situation, but at the same time, you don't want to get into any type of situation where you know that you're not going to be able to provide for each other, or that other person is going to be able to provide for you, or if it comes to where they don't have a job and you just have a job, you know what I'm saying? Are you going to be able to provide for them? You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So you're saying typically women will not marry up, but they will date up for security.
I think a lot of women do date up for security, and a lot of people have different types of insecurities that they deal with anyways, because they may be like, let's just take somebody might be a mom and they're a single mom, and they're already struggling. Then they meet this guy and they're like, oh, well, this guy has this and this and this. You know what I'm saying? It might be beneficial for me, even though I don't really like him right now. I could grow to like him.
So women do that.
I don't know what all women do. Guys do it too. You know what I'm saying? There's bums out here all the time and they don't have nothing. And then they see some girl and they're like, oh, well.
So okay.
Couch surfing.
I can move up.
So that's funny as hell.
What?
Excuse my language. No. So with dating up, I'm going to say is dating up just basically from my past, I'm doing something different or better than what I maybe did before. Because if my past relationship gave me headaches, right?
Right.
Dating up can be,
no headache.
I'm just dating somebody who maybe I'm not arguing with. Maybe somebody that I can just sit down with and converse with.
See, and that's what I meant when I said dating up is not always financial.
Right.
Because it's whatever you deem dating up is. Because you may say, hey, I got my own money, so I'm not really looking for nobody. I don't want a broke person. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But money is not at the top of there. Because if I'm attracted to you and we're in the same social environment, you may, or I already kind of know if you got, if you got a little cash, a little change. But if it's like you said, a headache, maybe it's because for me, my last relationship, you were controlling. And now this relationship I got is somebody who's going to work side by side with me, somebody who wants to know my opinion. They value my opinion. So dating up for me could have been mentally.
Yeah.
I dated up because mentally in my last relationship, you suppressed a lot of who I was for you to be who you were.
Right. But initially, do you know that you're dating up when you meet a person? Besides you, who've already stalked people?
Hey.
That was a good one. I like that.
I'm just saying, do you know what I'm saying? When you meet people,
I think you do. I think
Just
with the help of social media.
That's true.
But social media can't always be true.
That's a fact.
But I think in this day and age, you get to see more of people than you did when we were younger and when Mondo was younger.
That's true. But you meet somebody and you're like, oh, this person seems like a great person. You may think you're dating up, and they're logical, they're having good conversation, they're educated. And then a couple months down the road, you're like, oh, I didn't date up, I dated down.
That's the good thing about dating. You can always stop.
Yeah.
True.
But some people don't know how to cut off the relationship. They can be like, this ain't working.
But sometimes you're already kind of emotionally attached. You know what I'm saying? So then, you're going to stick
got hit
around.
with that Louisville Slugger.
or that WAP. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're already so far into the situation that you're like, I do like them, but I don't like these things about them. So therefore, do you still continue to think that you've been dating up, or do you try to fix what you've thought that you were dating up.
I think that if a person feels like they have dated up, then they're more than like, if that's what the goal was, then they're more than likely to put up with a lot of BS in that relationship, because they know that, okay, when everything else fails, this thing right here that I think that I married up for or dated up for is what got me. Because now this guy, the last guy who she was trying to not, that she was waiting, thought she was dating down, may have been verbally abusive, right? No, let's say he's not verbally abusive, right? But he had no cash. He wasn't no athlete.
He
wasn't
go
no
to work.
star.
He go to work every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Right? But he never talked to her crazy, but he financially couldn't do anything for her. Now she meet this new guy named Matt, who's in the IT business, on his own IT business. And now she's with Matt, and because Matt can financially support her, she lets Matt talk to her like she's nothing. Because
That's true.
she's selling that self-esteem for the financial gain.
Yeah, some people do lose themselves, but then sometimes you just need to, I don't know how strong some people are, and everybody has their different abilities of strength, but you can't just let somebody just do you like that,
What made me think too, I had a buddy, they're married, they was dating. I remember when they first started dating, and I remember one thing he told me, because she was financially secure, for a job. Not saying she's making buku bucks, but
enough to sustain.
Enough to say, single, no kids. Right. Him, on the other hand, having kids and stuff, he worked. And what he told me, he said, the thing is that when you go into a woman's life, it's either you have to add something. He was like, it's not that, oh yeah, she get to be a stay-at-home mom, but he said what happens a lot of times, they get with these guys, and then these guys become a burden.
Right.
So it's like, how do you come in somebody's life and now they have less? They should have more. Like, so even just be able to take care of yourself. He said, because what happens is they get a lot of guys and they end up having to take care of the guy. It's like, okay, so he has to take my car while I'm at work. But then I have to put gas in my car
for him to get around.
For him to get around.
But let me ask you this. When you say she had to take care of him, right? Why does she feel like she has to take care of him? See, that's the real issue. If she feels like she's dating up, it's going to be some things that this guy's doing that the last guy didn't do. That's immediately we're going to know.
Bill Slugger, I'm assuming.
It's going to have to be. And the next, because he ain't got no money. And all he brought was his PlayStation 5 and his Jordans. So when you get to this point where she feels like she has to take care of him, then what is she really getting out of a relationship? Is it that she got low self-esteem, or she ugly and he makes her feel beautiful, or vice versa? Is it that he has nowhere to live and she got a 4-bedroom house?
Okay, well, think about this, right? When we were saying sometimes it's the man with the money is controlling. Maybe it's the woman, she wants, well, if I get a guy who's dependent on me, then I ain't got to worry about him leaving.
Because I hold the purse.
Because I can take care of him. Yeah.
Because you don't eat unless I feed you. You can't go get a beer with your buddies unless I give you some allowance. So maybe that's a control mechanism as well. Sometimes we look at it as men being controlling financially, but maybe it can be the same thing with women.
I've dated women who have made more than me at a point in time. And I think that one thing about me is my self-confidence immediately don't allow you to even, it don't even come into play, because like you said, I can take care of myself. Right. So I'm not coming in for you to take care of me, nor am I looking for or asking you to take care of me. Whatever you do is what you do, and whatever I do is what I do. I think that when people say, oh, I'm marrying up, sometimes that's the notion for a man or a woman. They're out there looking for someone who they feel has more than them, but may have a lot of self-esteem issues. And so they like, let me pick this person who I can look from afar and see, yeah, I probably can sway my way in there. And then because I'm going to give them all of these things that nobody ever gave them, attention or whatever, affection, whatever the case may be. So I'm marrying up or dating up for a purpose. Right. This person just feels like they found the right person at the right time. And you didn't. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like people, though, if you're looking to date up or you're looking to marry up, that you go out searching for that person. You know what I mean? Like you're searching for something, but then
rather
I feel
than
like
letting it just happen.
yeah,
organically.
rather than letting it
Okay.
just happen.
Yeah.
That's
Because
good.
a lot of times people in relationships just let things happen and then they find out, hey, I'm not really dating up, I'm dating down, or I'm dating down and not dating up or whatever. But then you get couples and stuff who get together and then you see that maybe the girl has dated down, but then the guy sees that he's dated up and then his characteristics change
to meet.
to meet her expectations. And then they both become two messed up things.
See, I was gonna say that, but in another way, the two come together and then they both go up together.
together.
Like I don't understand how two people doing, even if you're doing bad or decent or good, and y'all two come together, y'all should be doing better than what you was doing.
You don't have to
before.
be 9
Right.
levels up, but you should
Right,
at
you should be
least
doing
move
better.
forward.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
You think they be encouraging each other to move up, but then some of them, they just stay on that same level and they stay stagnant and they're doing the same thing every day.
But
and
have you?
stagnant kills relationships.
It
huh?
does. But I think one of the things also is the communication. Like if I date a lady and I realize, and I don't really think that I would realize that I'm dating down. You know, like like it would have to be a lot for me to be like, dang, I'm dating down, right? Because if I'm showing interest in you, then I don't feel like I'm dating down.
Right.
Right. But when society looks at us or when you look at it, maybe you feel like I'm out of your league and you're just happy to be here. Right. And so at that point, sometimes people regress in a relationship because they feel like you dated down. And so now they're in that shell of acting like, oh, well, I can't say this to him because he's this way or he's that or he's used to this. You know, you get like, he's used to this. Or a lot of people say, well, you eat expensive. And I'm like, I don't eat expensive. I just eat what I like.
What I
Yeah.
like.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to ask you to buy me because I'm conscious of your situation.
Yeah.
So I would never ask a woman to prove to me that she's into me by going and spending money or doing these crazy things because I know your situation and I'm not with you to feed me because I can feed myself.
Yep. And I dated a woman, right? This was some years ago. It wasn't like a long-term relationship or nothing, right? So we were dating, and on the outside, nice girl, kept her bundles together, dressed nice, had a nice little spot, drove a nice car. But, you know, I called like, hey, what y'all eating today? And then it was just like, but every time you want to go out with me, it's like, so it's like you, like how we were talking about in success.
Right.
Like, you know, you might go on that ramen noodle diet because maybe you saving money for X, Y, Z. Oh, to keep up all this appearance,
Right.
you at home starving, right? So on the outside looking in, people was saying like, oh, well, she used to dating dudes, but it don't matter what they got because it's just appearance, right?
Right.
I may not have what they have, but clearly by the look how this shirt fit me, I'm eating good every day. Yep. And I think that was the thing. So some people could be like, well, maybe he was dating up, right?
Right.
Some people say, well, she was dating down, but I was doing more for her
And she was doing.
than she was doing for me. Now, it wasn't a burden on me. I didn't mind doing it, right? She even was like, hey, maybe we should move in together because she was like, my mortgage or whatever is this much. And I'm like, why would you have your mortgage be this high for this? So
Because people got to know that she's
Right.
successful,
Yeah.
brother.
But now if I came in, right, I would free up a lot of money for you. But then now this would become a burden on me.
So she
because of your-
was financially trying to date up. That's what
Yeah.
it's like for financial reasons. No, you
But
probably
and I know she'll never see this, but I ain't gotta say her name. But you always dated
is she
these dope
blind?
boy, huh?
She blind?
Nah.
So she
I'm just
might
saying-
see it.
Oh well, hell, I don't care.
So she was probably just doing things for appearance, or she was more
Right.
of some type of a gold digger
Right.
type.
But I'm an awesome person.
Right.
So, you know, and because one day, because I'm like, you always like nickel and dime me. Like if you want something, just ask for it.
right.
So one day I just played it like this. Oh, I ain't got the money for it today. You know, I had the money,
just to see where y'all was at.
She was like, had got offended, right?
Because you said
But
no.
I'm like the second time we went out, I left my debit card at home. I only had like X amount of cash. So we at the restaurant. I literally didn't have enough money to pay the bill because I left my debit card.
The old I left my debit card.
I literally did. Like I had some cash in my pocket and I'm like, oh, and I think it was probably like went $20 over. Right. And then she was like, I got it. And then she still ended up paying for us to go to the movies or something. So that's what kind of threw me off. But I'm like, oh, but that was like early on. Oh, okay. But once we got more into it, I was like, oh, okay.
This what it is. So let me ask you guys this. When you just said about the financial, when you look at interracial dating, and some people feel like when they leave their race to go to another race, that's them dating up. Now, sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's social.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, they're just done with their own kind, I guess.
Listen, y'all not going to attack me today. I just feel like I don't think that everybody who dates irrational.
Irrational.
Yeah.
That's usually what we do. Irrational
I don't think
dating.
everybody who dates interracially is dating for a status. I think some people do. I think some people don't. But more than likely, I think some people do it just because they actually really care about the person. Because you could see interracial relationships and sometimes they just don't look like something doesn't belong. And it's not the race part. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Me, I don't date outside my race. But if someone genuinely falls in love with somebody that's not in their race, I'm all
if it's genuine, absolutely.
Because I know some coloreds, right? That I've heard them say.
You cannot use that word.
Oh, well, I don't know else. I don't know how to. I've seen them say that they date white girls because they spend money on you. But I'm like, black women spend money on you too. So my thing is, you don't do it because you're trying to get over on somebody.
Right.
But
right.
if you meet somebody and y'all click, then that's cool in the game. And that was we had this friend. So me and Dante wanted to shout out because I said everybody else's name except his, Dante. So we had this friend and we would call her Good Credit because she had the name. Her and this black girl had the same name, and then we would call her Good Credit because
what you call a black girl.
We talk about that off camera. No, but we call the white girl. We call her Good Credit. Her name, right? Because the thing was, the joke was that white women have good credit, so that's why they get black guys or whatever. So at first it was funny, then I think she got offended. But yeah, and that's how we would look because the dude she would date, like she didn't even got no job.
But she had good credit.
So
I think only thing I don't like about interracial dating is when a person has to down one race to go date another race.
Facts.
Like if you think that dating another race is dating up, then that's cool because everybody has their own preference, right? So whatever your preference is, then let your preference be your preference. Don't say, oh, all black guys ain't nothing. I'm gonna get me a white guy because they know how to treat people. Well, that's not what divorce rates say. Say we all treat women wrong, right?
Yes.
And so when you look at it, where even the same, where you'll have a white woman date a black man and say because a white man is not tough enough for her, he can't protect her. He may be financially protecting and all that, but he can't protect her. She don't feel like that aggression side or whatever you may have you. But I think you don't have to down another race or your own race to go date another race. So when you say dating up, people think, a white woman dating a black man is her dating down. A black man versus dating a white woman, they say he's dating up. The same thing with black women. And then in corporate America, you see a lot of times you'll have a white man with a black woman, right? And then you'll have
his beard.
Huh?
It was probably his beard.
His beard.
If y'all know what that slang means.
Right. But you'll have that, right? And then it's like, well, why is he dating this woman? But then you'll see them somewhere else. You can tell that the connection isn't there. Now, it ain't for us to judge, but that's what we do as people.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, you can look and say, something not right. But it doesn't mean that you have to down another race. I think people have their ulterior motives for dating anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Me and the guys, we will always say when we see a black woman with a white dude, we'd be like, oh, she's successful. Or really, it'd be a black guy with a white girl.
Right.
Like, oh, is he a baseball player, football player?
Right.
They like
Doctor or
successful.
lawyer.
Because you see in the sports world, a lot of times the dudes, they always have like white wives, and them having white wives. And they'd be like I know this is stereotyping our own people, but they'd be like the most ghettoest looking dudes, right? I mean, look like they straight from like Florida, hanging out with the Haitians all day.
So why do you think they do that? Why do you think that a person who dates their own race for umpteen years, and when they become successful, they feel like because they leveled up, and I'm not speaking for them, but this is just my opinion, because they leveled up, the person or the persons who they've been dating all of this time, they can't take with them into this new level in which they're going to, and the only reason they're there is because of their money. So they don't want to be there with their money and feel like they don't belong, and then have a woman there with no money, and now they both feel like they don't belong, and vice versa. When you got,
I think it's status and class, and you want to keep that status that you're at. Like if you're in an upper echelon or something, you want to stay in that class, and you probably feel like, okay, this woman is going to be like this. They're going to be classy. They're not going to act crazy. They're not going to talk crazy. They're not going to yell or blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of people have that thought that maybe, especially with black men, I feel like sometimes, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of times in that upper echelon of status, they're like, okay, I don't want this person to be aggressive or angry, and they feel like, some black women are like that, and they're gonna be ghetto, and they're gonna be hood, and they're gonna date. It's basically dating down, and they don't want that in that bubble that they have now.
But is that because black women are more outspoken and take less of the BS? Because sometimes you'll find out that they'll say, oh, because the black woman is loud or she's aggressive. Then you get to these places, because I've been in these places where you have these Caucasian women who are just as nasty.
If you look at social media today with the whole Karen thing, how can you call a black woman loud and blah, 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 when we see these women going, because they don't want to wear a mask, they would tear up a whole supermarket.
Because it's the way you look. People are intimidated by black women. They're intimidated by educated black women. They're intimidated by black women who don't mind speaking their mind. And I can be talking to you regular, and you could feel like I'm raising my voice to you just because you're intimidated by my
speak
stature.
Well for a black woman.
You know what I mean? Thank you.
That's what they say.
So how?
But it's still, you have conversations with people, and people are like, "Oh, are you angry?" No, I'm not angry. Just because I'm speaking to you this way, and you feel like I'm intimidating you because of your insecurities, it doesn't mean I'm angry.
So do you think that some people feel like dating up is more visual? So
yeah, I feel like it's visual, but then that's why a lot of people are out here getting themselves fixed, because they want to be like, oh, let me go get this and let me go get this so I can fit into this type of structure of lifestyle. You know what I mean? When in reality, you're still gonna have that messed up brain when you go date somebody.
So it goes a little bit deeper. You just stated something, and you said they want to look like these people who are already there, right?
Or they think that's there.
But no, they're there. Because you see them with the athletes, the movie stars. So they're already there. So they're saying, if I can look like this person, maybe I can attract this person who that can take me there. And all I got to do is look like them, right?
Right.
Get me in the room, and I'll show you I can stay in the room.
Right.
But I can't even get in the room because I don't look this certain way or talk this certain way.
Right. But I feel like, you don't always have to look a certain way to get a certain type of person. And in reality, I don't think I do think, sometimes athletes do end up being that way, or even, just regular people outside of athletes. Sometimes guys get these women and they feel like if they get them, they're supposed to look like this. But you don't always have to look like that, because you can get a Barbie and then in reality, you like a Cabbage Patch. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just dating a Barbie because
I've
she
seen
looks
people
like
cheat
a Barbie.
on a Barbie with a Cabbage Patch.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying Cabbage Patches are ugly or anything, but I'm just saying some people more round and plump than other people. And other people out here paying to be round and plump when, you still got a messed up brain.
But, I'll say this. The whole dating up and dating down thing, I think that it just comes from your preference. and what you think it takes for you to get to the next level when you're dating, when you think you're dating up. Like, what does this person bring into my life if I feel like I'm dating up that's going to help me to date up? Now, I would hope that's the concept, and it can't always just be money. But what about?
Well, hold on. Before we go that far, interracial thing, right? First of all, we're going to blame Ray J, right? First of all, we're going to blame Ray J.
Why? Because he hit it first?
Right. But think about what Kanye said. He said, when he get on,
Right.
he leave you for a white girl. So what I was thinking was, in a lot of these guys we see at the NFL draft, right? A lot of these guys would be an all black household, right? Sitting around the couch and the TV, and their girlfriend, it'd just be this one random white girl chilling,
Right.
and I'm like, oh, that must be the girlfriend. So then look at the colleges that some of these guys go to are primarily prominent with a PWI,
Predominant.
Yeah.
right? So it may be because
That's all that's available.
that's all that's around.
Yep.
Then they travel with the cheerleaders and
Right.
stuff like that. They could build friendships, relationships, or the cheerleaders know, like, hey,
He about to be the
she
guy.
about to go to the league, right? But if the sister, the black woman, did it, it'd come off like, oh, she a gold digger, right?
She trying to level up.
So right, so
Like,
if
you deserve to level up, but she-
right.
she-
So
with
if
her, it's
Dad
different.
came and be like, oh, well, Earl is a top 10, maybe a top 10 draft pick. Let me go talk to Earl. Man, she a gold digger.
She only talking to Earl.
Yeah. Now Samantha come through. Hey, Earl, great game this week. Blah blah blah. We should go out. Oh, okay. Yeah, and then
That's
Earl,
how you sound?
Then Earl on the couch. I mean, then Samantha on the couch with Earl, and the number one pick, right? And I think that has
Earl
a lot,
Wickelstein.
right? And I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
Okay. So my point earlier was when you said about dating up and being in a room. But what about people who date down? Like, why do you think some people date down? I know we started the show off and we were talking about how men typically will date down, right? And have you ever dated down, Mondo? And if you have, why did you date down? Or did you even know it?
I hate to say like date it down, because I think when we say we date down, then that's more of a reflection on us than
right.
the person that we actually dated.
Right.
So have I dated? I think I've dated women that I didn't see a future with, right? But it could boredom. Just maybe I had been single for a while, and just like I just want to go out and spend some time with somebody, and then knowing that they probably liked me, I didn't really like them, but it was just cool to hang out. So I'm like, so I think for me that would be dating down, because I'm dating you
Without
and knowing this ain't gonna go nowhere.
So it really wasn't a dating down. It was just like an entanglement down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like you
It
was
was
just
just
there.
a situation.
You was there for the WAP.
Yeah.
But sometimes it wasn't even no WAP, and like did nothing happen. It would be like literally,
You were doing it for the companionship.
there we go.
You were lonely.
Socialization.
But I do like companionship, right? So so say right now in my life, I'm more like companionship, right? Than really relationship, because maybe I'm not ready for a relationship right now. But as far as companionship, but I don't want to say this companionship would be me dating down, right? Yeah.
What about you, Dad? You ever dated down?
Nope. Yeah, I have. It was an accident. I got tricked. I was bamboozled. You
tricked me.
Yeah.
Let us straight.
Winked. And so I was younger, and I was like, I was in college or whatever, and I'm from the country, blah blah blah. So I was at a football game and whatever.
Those athletes.
Yeah, I know, but I got caught up in a bad situation. Not to tell my
He
whole
bought
story.
his jersey out
But
of the
he
store.
did have his jersey, but he was offering me things, you know what I mean? Not to say that I'm super materialistic, but I was in college, I was broke, you know what I'm saying? I was always trying to, get my parents send me some money. So I was like,
He had that Pell Grant.
No, he didn't even have a Pell Grant, but he had a good job. So I thought, right?
Was he a student?
So no, he wasn't even a student.
Oh, a professor. This is finna get good.
No.
Hold on, let me turn my seat.
So I was just like,
Free college.
whatever. I started, that's what I thought, books and stuff like that. My mom sent me money for books. I'm going to not use that and blah, blah, blah. So anyways, I'm talking to this guy, and eventually, I had an apartment or whatever, so he'd come up to where I live and he'd stay, for the weekend or whatever. And he was like, okay, I'm going to, move, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, okay, cool. And come to find out, he hadn't even like had a job.
Was he a drug dealer?
I mean, he had a job. No, they came later after college.
Oh wow.
So, so anyways, he had moved to, I was in Huntsville or whatever. He had moved up there, you know, and he was staying with some friends and he was like staying at my apartment and stuff all the time. And so I was like, whatever, you know, and then he'd be over there a lot. But then he'd be like, I'm going to work or whatever he said he was doing. And then come to find out, he didn't even have like a job. This was before I could really stalk on social media. You know what I mean? Still had a flip phone. But come to find out, he didn't even have a job or anything. And like, I had thought, you know, he was a different type of guy. You know, he had a nice family background. He was this and he was that. And all in reality, he was a bum.
So he had Do Dirty House playing Madden. He had Do Dirty House playing Madden with Jody and them.
Right.
Wow. And you thinking he had work looking for a job.
He was going to his friend's house playing the video games.
That's what I'm saying. Playing Madden over Do Dirty House.
Yeah.
Do Dirty always got the guys at
I don't know who Do Dirty is, but I'm just saying. I felt like I got tricked. And I was like, never again.
You did.
But I was talking to other people anyway, so it didn't really matter.
It did because you shared that story. It hurt you.
No, it didn't hurt me.
I seen the pain.
It didn't hurt me. What it did is it taught me to not end up in more situations like that. It was a learning lesson.
We'll give you a hug after this.
I don't want no hug.
So, the drug dealers. Or do we have to wait for another? Like, even Matt was like, yeah, talk about the drug dealers. Or is that another episode?
That's another episode.
Yeah, the drug dealers kind of came in between the athletes and, you know, the losers.
And the bum.
See, I thought that maybe you would date up with athletes because they travel.
Right.
And that way you can get your space.
It was more, it was like with like, okay, I don't want to tell all my business, but with a lot of times they do travel a lot. You can go places, you know what I'm saying? You can go all over, you know, people are like, I don't know.
Well,
I won't tell all my business.
Right. For me, I think dating down, I'm with you, Mondo. I don't go into a situation thinking that I'm dating down. Like, I don't be like, oh, look at her. She looks dumb and I'm smart. Let me go talk to her. Or, you know, look at her. She's poor. Look at her little poor self.
But how do you know,
here.
though?
I'm sitting over here with some money and she's looking poor. Let me go over there and run her life. Like, I don't prey on people.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I get to know you and you're poor, then you're poor. I mean, you're like, you're still the same person that I was interested in because I didn't know how much money you had when I approached you. Now, yes, I may have known just by looking and seeing what you're doing, but you could just be a saver. You can just be a person who's not out there spending all your money. I think that when you say dating down, for me, dating down may be once you get to dating someone, you realize that they're not on the level in which you want. And then you decide if you want to date down or not on your standards, because you have your standards and you don't know if they meet your standards until you actually start interacting with them. And then at that moment, you're saying, well, at this point in my life, I need somebody who can do boom, 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 and grow with me this way. Yeah. Now, am I willing to wait on this person, or will I wait and just leave this person? Like, when I wait until someone else comes and then leave this person. So it's not like dating down.
But do you just leave and be like, oh, you know what? You're not up, so I'm going to leave.
No, you just basically walk away and never go. No,
I mean, you
ghost.
can.
No, you
don't ghost them.
You don't ghost them.
But you could just be like, this is not what I want to be involved in.
But why not this is my thing. If you find out you're dating down, and I know that sounds super bad, but when you find out that you're dating down from your standards, not that the person is less of a person,
right?
But they just not like hitting your marks, right?
Right.
If you still enjoy being around them and see no future, just be honest and say, hey, at this point, I don't see a relationship with you. I love hanging out with you.
Yeah.
You know, you're a cool person, but I just know I'm not the guy to be in a relationship with.
Right.
So I don't think it's dating down.
Let me ask you this. So when we're talking about dating down, talking about more intellectual. So would you, and I don't know, I don't want to say a woman with kids, but, or whatever. Let's just say you meet a woman who's maybe at the moment, like, she's financially stable, like she don't need no money from you, but her financial situation isn't the best, right? But she's making it work for, if she got kids, her, and her kids are her and stuff, whatever. But she has the intellectual capacity to keep you interested, engaged, right? Would you stick around?
Yeah, most definitely, because this is what I think. I think that if you have kids, right, and you're making it work for whatever your financial situation is, whatever I'm coming in, I'm going to add, right?
Yeah.
And for me, being an adult and dating, I always said a woman who asks for less get the most from me, right? I don't want to feel obligated, especially if we're just dating. Don't make me feel obligated to do anything. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Now, if I see a need as a man, I'm going to recognize a need, and then I'm going to take care of that need if I'm really interested in you that way. I think that will I wait? Yeah. And plus, I love kids, you know.
That's the hardest thing about dating a woman with
Kids. Like, you may like the kids more than you like her. You find out, I like these kids, and you crazy. So, can I still see the kids?
I'm like, go and drop the kids off. I'll babysit while you go on your date with Earl.
Yeah. Right.
That's nice. Got a good heart.
So you ain't babysitting for Earl while he go out with Samantha, huh?
No.
Ooh, if y'all can see her face. If you listen in by audio, you can see her face.
She is not letting her. But
No, I think kids are cool though. You know what I mean? But I don't think that, you know.
Have you ever been a pre-step mommy?
Mm-mm.
So you've never dated somebody with kids?
not that he claimed.
So you never dated a guy?
I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you dated a guy where he was like, okay, Daff, I want you to meet my daughter or my son or meet my kids.
Yeah. Usually I don't
She
stick
was like,
around
nah.
for long.
So let me ask you this: who dates up? Who? According to society, do you think dates up more or looks to date up more, men or women?
I think some men are gold diggers too.
Wow. No, I think men date up more. I think women look to date up more. I think that men, I think we all ended up, when I say settle, I don't mean settle in negative tense. I think we all end up settling for love, right? Because dating up usually is the material or educational, you know.
Social.
Yep.
Right.
So I think most of us end up. The thing is, when you, I don't want to say date down, but when you don't necessarily date up, but you're higher than this person, if this person doesn't start to rise, then love is like, that's when love ain't enough, right? When you date down and it's for love, I think that's when it's just like whatever, because then there's no expectation. Because if you reach me at my level that I've dated down, then it's like, or maybe I'm saying that backwards. If I'm up, if I'm up. But yeah, and I think that's what it is. I think men look to date up. No, I think men date up, women look to date up, and then love conquers all.
Right.
But do you think men date down because of it's less abuse to their ego?
No, I think date down.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is
I think
you get a man who gets a woman and on every level, he knows that this woman is just with him because he has money. Like you see that sometimes. The guy knows that the woman is there because of that, right? But because he can control her now in any aspect, that's why he's dating her. He's willing to give up money. He's willing to give up.
I got something to say, but
he's willing to give up money for control, right? Do you think people give up?
I'll cut you off if needed.
Okay.
Do you think people give up money for control?
Here's the thing. I know guys who don't have no game. And when I say game, I don't mean game like tricking a woman.
Right.
I mean, you just don't got no
conversation,
right?
Oh,
but
like you who don't like to get in inboxes, right?
But clearly, I've been told that I need to start doing that.
Like somebody called you a snack, so I don't know how that happened.
See, that's where we get them awkward pauses, man.
A light snack.
Because I'm light skinned. You know what? So, you know, I know but he got a boatload of cash, right?
Right.
So if I know you struggling, I know you're a struggling college student and we talking whatever, well, don't worry about it. I got your rent this week. And then it'll come to a control thing. Then it's like, well, be home at 2:00 because when I leave the bar, I'm going to come to your house.
Right.
So, but we seen how you be like, how he get her? Sometimes, he's just a good guy. Sometimes it's like, we put a little something in your pocketbook. Yeah. So I think it be like that when a dude date, and then we didn't see some dudes. It's like, he with her. But it was like how you said, the ego esteem thing, I think is that she treats him so well
Right.
that he looks past
Anything
what we
else.
would deem not to be, attractive because her heart is so beautiful and pure. He like, look, that's all that matters. I done dated all these Barbies.
So is dating up like not beauty or is beauty included?
I think it is. I don't want to be an ugly person. Right. So for me, I think that when you look at dating up, it's a list of things, but it just matters where they fall at on your list. Like say if you say a beautiful woman, you only dated ugly women. And so you like, I'm ready to level up. So I need a beautiful woman. But is that beautiful? Is that the number one thing? Or is it still she has to be intelligent, she has to have a job, and she got to be beautiful? Or is it that she just got to be beautiful and you'll figure out the rest coming on?
Okay, so look at these celebrities, right? These guys, athletes, such.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Right. Let's just be real. They ain't the most, some of them ain't the most attractive, but they got these Instagram model girlfriends or whatever. I mean, they done went to Dr. Miami, cloud, right? It's like, come on, he ain't even your type. But he got that multi-million-dollar contract. So for him, it's dating up because I ain't never dated a woman that's fine.
Yeah, but they're both already having insecurities because she's already went to go get herself fixed. You know what I'm saying? And he already knows that he can't get anybody better than her. So they're both having insecurities. So they're probably both in some type of relationship that's all
they really
types
don't want to
of,
be in. They just want people to think that
it's
they
probably
got
so
it.
toxic.
Yeah.
Maybe. But do you think, okay.
Sometimes toxic can be good though.
Some
but
people
I have
thrive
seen
off of toxic.
some attractive women who already had nice shapes go
and still get done.
It's like,
I don't know. I've dated women who people say, oh, that's a date up or whatever. And then you get there and you're dating them and you're like, I'd rather date this person down here than to come and date you because you crazy, But what do you guys think that, say our grandmothers, some of them were trained to date up. Like you get a man who got a job who can take care. Like think about with The Color Purple, right? They used to go and they would marry their kids off to people who they thought was well-to-do, which was like, I want my kid to have a better lifestyle. I want my kid to be able to have access to different things. So this doctor comes to marry my 16-year-old daughter and he gives me, a bounty and boom.
Yeah. So that was dating up for what
do y'all think that's dating up too? Like that would be like not you picking it, but your family saying that's the status that I want for you.
You from the South, you should know how that works.
Yeah, I think it happens. And I think it's a situation. I think it still happens in a sense where people keep their circle small and they keep
their kids intertwined.
They keep everybody intertwined so that they can this is what's going to happen. This is what we want to happen.
Wealthy people do it.
Yeah, they do it all the time. They keep that social circle a certain way so that even you take for instance if you want to talk about like South things, you go to black colleges, you have this person in a sorority, this person in a fraternity, and you end up with this person because that circle is already small and that's what your family encourages you to do.
I'm gonna marry a Delta. Probably, yeah.
But are they going to marry you?
Yeah, I got on black and red. See how that works?
That's the Latin King's color.
Because he light skinned?
Because he light skinned.
So
he got on some shell toes too.
So to your point, first of all, because
last week you dressed like a thug. This week you look like you about to go play golf.
And you done put on your glasses.
At all. Give the people what they want.
This is Matt. Matt say, put Ramon on the glasses, put them on. I'd be like, yes, Matt.
You don't look as cool with the glasses and the hat, though.
Okay, focus. What's
I
the?
ain't
What
had
are you gonna say?
But so back to, I'm just gonna use them as a
prop.
Yeah. So back to the Color Purple thing. I hear you back there, Matt. When like Mr. had the young girl, right?
Right.
So for her family, it was dating up because now you ain't gonna be poor no more. You got a big house and stuff. Even though like you became a wife to do more like be a servant, more servitude. But then then Sugar Avery came, right? So then she was the glamorous one and beautiful. But then with Sugar Avery, then she had a man.
Right.
He probably didn't have as much as Mr., but he was still more charismatic. More charismatic, outgoing, can have fun, do the things that she wanted to do. So then, and transparent, would dating up for maybe Suge be Mr. who had who was more financially stable, or would it be this guy that she can actually enjoy her life with?
No, I think that her with Mr. wasn't a date up. It was more of a here's this person that you're gonna date. So when you had Whoopi Goldberg as Silly, when she got with Mr. Mr. was kind of like what happened to Suge, but Mr. was supposed to have been her dating up, right?
Right.
So Mr. was her dating up, but then Suge, the guy, I don't even know his name because he wasn't even that important in the movie.
Earl. It's called Earl.
So when she left Mr. for Earl, that was her dating up. So Mr. lost because he thought he was the date up. He was the person, and he was what was going on. So he's like, I can have whoever I want. I got all this land. I got this house. I got all of these. I got the store. I got all of these things here, right? But now he realized that he wasn't enough for Suge. If you go back to that movie, when Suge came back and introduced her husband to him, the look upon his face was what?
Who was this beep?
This guy who's a musician?
Right.
And Earl's a musician, but I got all this land. And I got all this cattle and all of these things and old Joy in the North Field. So I think that it just showed the transition for both. Boom. You thought you were an upgrade and you weren't. The same way that an athlete would go in and think that they're an upgrade, and then they get left.
But in reality, in that whole situation, Suge didn't even really like what she had anyway.
Neither one of them.
You ever read the book or see the play?
Exactly.
Suge like Celia.
But then in those type of situations, you know what I'm saying? I wonder, I don't know, but if those outside of, male and female, if people in that type of relationship, LGB, LMNOP, all of it. But I don't know if they also date up in their type of situations.
I wouldn't know. We would have to ask what would
you know what I mean?
know what? I don't think we would really have. I think people are people. And I think that even in their relationship, it's going to be the same. They're going to have some of the same standards and expectations in their relationship that we have in ours, where it's like, it doesn't matter that we're in a same-sex relationship. You still only play Xbox.
Well, I don't know, because there are people out there who are just looking to get in a relationship now, especially with the climate that we're in, who just want to get into a relationship with another of the same sex. And I'm not trying to call people they or anything like that, be offensive, but some people like to be called they, I don't know, in that type of LMNOP, LGBT, no offense.
So
don't come for me.
I got a question for the two of you. Have you, either one of you two, thought that you were the dating up and come to find out that you were the dating, that they was dating down, dating you?
No one can overdate me.
No. I've never felt like that. So
you ain't never, and then you was like, that's who he with?
You know what? I tell you what's crazy is that I've never thought that, because I think my confidence is too high in what I bring to the table and who I am as a person, that if you bring somebody who maybe they're nicer than me, look better than me, taller than me, more muscular, got a better job, whatever the case is, that's cool, but that's them, because I'm very secure in who I am. So it could be, you like him, but I'm not comparing myself with him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I've never felt like I was a down person, because even if you go out and you get a Cabbage Patch or you get a Barbie or whatever, I still have something that you want. You know what I mean? They always
come back.
And then they do always come back. And then even if you're not around, you're still going to be like, I left for that, or this person has this that they're still attached to.
What about you, Mondo? You been the bottom?
I see what you did there. And that's funny. That is hilarious. A lot of people are not going to catch that, but that's funny. No, definitely not. Oh, man.
Really?
He got... not on air, because when I crack jokes, I want to use bad language. So not on air, but I'm going to light him up one day. Pause.
Answer the question.
No, I think some women have,
thought that,
right? But I'm Mondo. I'm Mondo. So yeah, like you said, you got more money than me. You got all these things I got, but at the end of the day, this award-winning personality, like I'm just a nice guy. So no, because I think about it, I'm cool. Like with every woman, like either been in a relationship with or just like, dated and it didn't work out.
Oh.
So yeah.
So all in all,
I'm super.
when you're looking at dating up, dating down, we want you guys to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yes.
And that if you're going to be stuck in something like that, know that you have to pay a price and you're giving up something. Is it worth whatever that you're giving up to have that date up? And I hope people are not just down there dating down to control people. In my humble opinion, I think that it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, and what you do. Everybody can either be the down or the up, but it's up to you to believe that you are always the up and you are always the catch
Right.
and you
Like
are
that.
always the prize. And with that being said, we'll catch you guys next time. We love you. Keep your opinions humble and keep them rolling in. Peace
Bye.
out.
Peace.
Are we done, Matt? It's because when you're on the bottom, they got to pull you up.
The bottom could mean
I'm
guys. Man.
like a thrower and a pitcher type of catcher.